Hey, it's Rick. It's Sunday afternoon, November the 5th. In the email that I sent out, the link to this video, I went over what I'll call basically an aha moment that I've experienced in the last couple of weeks with respect to progressive exposure. I've talked about progressive exposure in the past. I think I fairly well understood it, but I think I've been misapplying it as I outlined in this in the email and in the attachment that you should have a look at. So I thought I would just do a quick video and explain visually what these market conditions are all about when they read red, yellow, or green. So just before I get started, looking at the S&P since the beginning of the year, I did really well in January and February coming out of the gate. In this period here, I made some good money. Unfortunately, this period here, I gave it all back. And then through March, or that was in February, March, or March, I gave it back. January, February were good. Basically broke even, made a little bit in this period in here. Probably should have done better given this rise. However, did very well in July and into August. This was a good period in here, this whole loop in here. But I ended up giving a lot of that back in September. This period from 1st of September into here. Gave a lot of it back in September, and October was basically even month. So, overall in the year, I'm up like 4.5%. You could say should have just stayed in T-bills since the beginning of the year and forgot all of this. But I've learned a lot along the way that's going to position me for when the bull market does arrive, and it will one of these days. It's happened. It could happen sooner. We're looking at the last 4 days, the way we ripped up here, but that's a whole other topic. So I'm going to flip over to my preferred benchmark, and that is the equal weighted 500. So what I've drawn here is these boxes with a brief explanation of what they mean. So as explains in the attachment in the email, when conditions are red, you want to be 90 to 100% in cash. You're only going to risk 0.125% on each individual trade, and but you will not hold anything overnight unless you have a profit cushion and your stop is at least break even. And then you move up the scale to orange, you can get 25% invested, but still the trade risk is tiny, 0.125%. Then when you get to yellow, you can go to 50% cash. You can step up your trade risk, but it's still really relatively tiny at 0.125% to a quarter of 1%. So we're taking tiny risks. The whole idea here, when conditions are particularly red, but orange and yellow, you're not trying to make a lot of money. You're trying to preserve your capital. And then when we get to green, of course, you get 100% invested or even more. You can go on margin. You step up your trade risk now to 0.5% to 1.25%. So it's a significant increase for when conditions are good. So that's sort of a visual of how that looks. If we go back, I just went back to June and to outline the conditions. And I know this is a very messy chart, but hopefully you get the idea. So from June the 2nd, we got a green signal. Price went above the 10-day moving average is yellow, 20-day moving average is white, and the 50-day moving average is blue. So on June the 2nd, price went above all three. And so this is basically says you're now green. You can get to 100% invested. And this stayed this way for up till here, really, for almost the next 3 weeks. And then price came down below the 8-day or that 10-day rather, but didn't get through the 21 days. So by then you'd move the model to yellow. You're starting to say, put the brakes on, let's hold off. Obviously, any positions that you're in up here, you're likely to be getting stopped out anyway. So it should be your first clue that says, okay, things are changing here. But even if you have a substantial profit, you're going to tighten your stops up just a bit because something's changing. Well, it only changed for 2 or 3 days, then we went right back up again and it gave back into a green signal. So again, you start any new positions now, you can get a little bit more aggressive. And we stayed this way until basically the 3rd of August. And then since August, we went yellow. Now, these moving averages have turned down, but the 50-day moving average is still moving up. So that's why you would have been stopped out. I was probably getting stopped out of a few positions up in here, but it wouldn't be a full-blown red environment until we get below this 50-day moving average. But even by going to yellow, you're cutting your exposure down significantly from when the conditions are much better. And then, of course, they deteriorate. We go red, get a brief blip into orange, only lasts 4 or 5 days, then red, and really would have been out of the market this entire period until 2 days ago. Had I had this model in place, I would have, well, I hope I would have, highly probable, would have avoided all of this carnage and protected the profits that I made up in here, which would have added at least another 10 or 12% to my account equity. So that's why I say this has really been an aha moment for me, is when to scale up and then reduce. So right now we're in a yellow environment. We're still not green. We've had 3 massive days up. I'm not going to get uber aggressive yet, obviously, until this 50-day moving average. What's likely to happen, it's going to come down and then start to curl back up. So another couple of weeks, potentially this is curling back up. Price could get through here before it starts curling up. My hope, though, is I'm going to go back to shows. I don't want to get rid of all this stuff. We'll go to spiders. My hope is that the market actually does something like this. Red, that's okay. Over the next few days, we digest a bit. And then we maybe go back up here, something like that. This would obviously be a green bar. So, you know, in a really good situation would be this. Now we're definitely, by then this moving average would have curled up here. We'd be above that moving average. We're now going to be above the 50, and we're clearly going to be above the 10. So if this draws out over the next week, would definitely be a green signal that it could be time to get much more aggressive. So we'll keep you posted. I'm going to use this red, orange, yellow, green market status, if you like, in my emails that I send out from time to time, and keep you posted where we're at. So hopefully this is helpful to you. Anyway, that's it for the weekend. Cheers, everybody.